In this video, I'll be making crispy baked paprika chicken with loaded baked potatoes and steamed Baja corn. A cheap and easy meal anyone can make.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell to be notified when there's new videos. Comments welcome. Thank you.
So this is the third time I've made a video with this chicken recipe. And this is the second time I'll be making it with the paprika spices. So to start off with, I'm going to preheat the oven 400 degrees. And I'm going to be baking both the chicken and the potatoes at the same time. So it's even easier. There's hardly anything to cook really after that. What I've got here is a family pack of bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs. These are super cheap all the time, and they're very forgiving to cook. And they taste great. So the only real thing I'm going to do here is trim off any excess skin or fat that's on there. And I'm going to save that skin and for making broth. And what I do is I just save it as every time I trim up chicken or if I buy a rotisserie chicken, I'll save the carcass. You definitely trim off that and just freeze it. And then when I get enough or I'm ready to make broth, I just use that. And the homemade broth, of course, is way better than the store-bought stuff. So, and you can check out. I have another video. You can check out how I make that in the Instant Pot. It's really very simple, and it's all just made from the scraps. So it's super cheap. And next up, I'm going to mix up the spices. Now this time, I'm actually making just a half recipe of the chicken. And I'm just going to make a half recipe of the paprika spice mixture. Start out with some allspice, some onion powder. What I've got is I've got the recipe on my tablet there to the left that I keep referring to. I have a short memory, so I have to keep looking, especially when I'm cooking for some reason. Salt. And this is just regular table salt, not kosher salt or sea salt. Keep in mind, if you use kosher salt or sea salt, they're generally about half as salty, so you need to use twice as much. If the recipe calls for regular table salt. Garlic powder. Oh, I missed the oregano. Or I was distracted by my own voice. Okay, smoked paprika. And this is smoked hot paprika. You can just use any paprika you want. And of course, this is the main ingredient for this spice mix, and it provides a lot of color. It doesn't have a lot of flavor, but the smoky hot stuff has a lot more flavor. Oh, and of course some cayenne pepper, give it a little bit of spice. Mix it up here with our little tiny whisk. Okay, put on some olive oil, just enough to coat the chicken and hold the spices on there. Of course, the oil helps crisp up the skin too, as does the fat that's underneath the skin. That's what you've got to do is you got to render out that fat that's under the skin, and then the skin will crisp up. And that's one of the great things about the thighs is that you can cook them long enough to do that and still not overcook them because they're just so forgiving. If you do it with breasts, a lot of times they'll get a little dry, but not too bad usually. So a lot of times if I'm doing breasts, I would do, I'll fry it in a skillet first. I'll fry the skin and render that fat and crisp up the skin, and then put it in the oven and bake it. So this recipe works just fine for breasts or or thighs or legs, whatever you like. Or you can do the hindquarters. Those are good too, especially if you need a little more meat per person, you know, if you just want to, and you like the legs. I'm not so big on the drumsticks of legs, so I'd rather just buy thighs and eat more thighs. Or the breasts. I like to get the bone-in breasts, and usually I cut those in half now because they're so huge, but it's easy enough, just chop right through there and do breasts. Or you could also chop up a whole chicken, but it seems like now the whole chickens cost more than the pieces. So, okay, I'm getting out my favorite baking pan there, my favorite sheep pan. It's really old and ugly, but it's perfect size. And I've got that rack that fits right in it. And it just takes one sheet of foil. And I do want to line this with foil, just so that way it'll catch all the grease and what the drippings off the chicken and make it easier to clean up. And this pan even works when you have when I do the full package for 8 or 9 or whatever's in the package. You can just stuff them on this pan. But in this case, it's going to work out nice too because I can put the potatoes on the same pan. And they're going to cook in about the same amount of time. So, should work out well. And when I'm handling chicken or meat, or chicken especially, I like to wash my hands quite a bit. I don't want to contaminate everything. And here we go. Like I said, I'm going to freeze these. So I got a Ziploc freezer bag. I'm going to freeze the rest of the chicken. And no, this is not April Fool's, obviously. This is actually a real video, a real meal. I should have thought of something to do for April Fool's. Make one of those viral TikTok recipes or something that don't actually work. Might piss people off though. There's Whiskey. Got 2 dogs. They always like to come in the kitchen and see if they can find something I dropped on the floor they can eat, especially when I'm working with meat. Not real fond of vegetables, but definitely the meat. Although Murphy will eat vegetables just because he thinks, you know, they're human food, so he'll at least try it. Okay, got the potatoes. This is basically just what's left in the bag there. I'm just going to bake them all. We'll have some leftover potatoes. I'm going to have some leftover chicken probably too. So that'll be nice for a lunch or something. Also, I like to cook up the potatoes, fried potatoes in the morning. Of course, for baked potatoes, I'm going to leave the skin on. I'm just going to cut off any bad spots. These are russet potatoes. Living in Idaho, you'd think we'd get great potatoes, but we seem to get whatever's left after they send the good stuff away. I also think the best ones are sold to restaurants, so they can say they have Idaho potatoes and they're the big ones, huge bakers. Okay, and then we like to wrap these in foil to keep the skin from getting too hard, which basically ends up steaming them, but that's the way we like them. Every once in a while we cook them without the foil on. You can just grease them up to keep the skin from getting too dried out. That will give you the little bit of a crispy skin if you like. And you need to poke the holes in there, right it through into the potato so that they don't explode. Usually that's mostly a problem if you haven't cut any bad spots off, so the skin is still all intact, but it can build up and they can kind of puff out and explode a little bit. All right, got the oven all warm already, so in we go. Just making sure what the recipe says for the time on the chicken, but sure, I'm just gonna go give it 60 minutes and we'll see where we're at. So I like to get that skin crispy and we want to get the potatoes up to temperature. So I want those potatoes over 200, 205. That way we know they're done. And of course the chicken needs to be cooked to at least 165. We're kind of going to, 180, 190, 195, somewhere in there. Still be plenty juicy since these are thighs. Might seem like it's overcooking, but it's perfect. I like dark meat a little dunner anyway. The breasts, of course, you have to watch out. You don't want to take them that high. You want to, like I said, fry up the skin in a frying pan, then put it in the oven and cook those. You don't need to go to 165 on those. 155 is good. It's your personal preference, of course, but 165 is, of course, just to be perfectly safe. But as long as it's been at, say 5 minutes at 155 degrees, you're good to go. And that way they don't dry out. Okay, and I should say that it's been an hour, so it's time to check on the chicken. Maybe next time I'll do the video on, or another video. I can't remember if I've done the chicken breast. Maybe I did. It's pretty bad. I'm already starting to lose track. It's like some. So let's just see where we are here after an hour. So it's definitely safe to eat, but I think I'd like to take them a little farther. Now, if you wanted to, of course, they're done, so you could take the chicken out. I'm going to check the potatoes too. I'm checking the skin there, see if it's crispy enough. Potatoes pretty much done. That one was anyway. This one, not quite. It's a bit bigger potato, so definitely need to go a little longer on those. So let's put the whole thing back in. Come on, button. Okay, give it another 15 minutes here. Should be good, but we'll check it, of course. Keep an eye on it. I don't want them to get too dark in there. Paprika already cooks up dark. There's Murphy again. Okay, and I gotta have a vegetable to go with this, so this is also called Southwestern corn, I think. Some other brands. But it's got like corn and some peppers and some beans in it. I usually like to fix it with a couple tablespoons of butter and then salt and pepper. In this case, I'm going to use the Mrs. Dash. Try to keep the sodium down a little bit here. Okay, let's give that chicken a check. Potatoes. Still looking good. Not too dark yet. So it's only been about half the time. I just want to make sure I don't overcook it. Sometimes with thighs, it's kind of hard to get a good reading. It's hard to get right into the meat without hitting the bones. Either way, of course, we know we're already done, but just the more I can crisp up the skin, the better. As far as I'm concerned, I love eating the skin with especially with all the spices on it. Check our biggest potato here. We're over 200 now. But I'm going to go back in a little more. We're going to get a little more done. And the vegetables aren't done yet anyway, so might as well. Okay, timer went off again. Quick check. Just see where we're at. I already think I'm going to pull it out regardless, but see how crispy that skin is. 205. Okay, it's ready. So the vegetables are basically half cooked at this point. I was cooking about halfway. Then if there's any water in there, I drain it out. Then I put in the butter and the seasoning. You know, like one thing with this meal is it's so easy. Even though the baking time is like an hour and 15 minutes. So we're going to look at an hour and 20 to be done probably. But the actual cooking work is way less than like a 30-minute meal. You know, 15 minutes or 20 minutes or something. So getting out our toppings for our potato. We've got our butter, our sour cream, some shredded cheese, Mexican blend. I did say loaded baked potatoes, bacon crumbles. Alright, so the corn's done. Here you go, just stir up that the butter and spices in there. Dinner is ready. So we got our little buffet. We got our chicken, our baked potatoes, our corn, our Baja corn. And off to the left there, we already have our toppings for our potatoes. So maybe I don't want to use as much butter as I do, but I do like my butter on there. Or whatever that stuff is in the tub. It tastes like butter. Can't forget salt and pepper. Sour cream. Some shredded cheese. And bacon crumbles. Way better than any restaurant, man. And way cheaper. Couldn't touch this at a restaurant. Let's get a taste of some of that skin. Oh yeah. Yep. Check out the meat. Not all dried out or anything. Perfect. Potatoes. There we go. Crispy paprika baked chicken and loaded baked potatoes with Baja corn. Thanks for watching.
If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, please like, subscribe, and click that notification bell to be notified when new videos become available.